Hello students, welcome to online classes of the chemistry department of Sri Guru Independent PU College, Kalburgi. In the last class, we learned about the titration. I hope that you prepared that titration part. Now in this lecture number 2, we have to prepare about the inorganic salt analysis. It is the inorganic salt analysis. Means they will give one salt to you in the annual examination, and you have to find out. There will be one small beaker, and that beaker bears the table number. That table number of your answer paper, and in that salt is given to you, and you have to identify what could be that salt. We call it as the qualitative analysis. Qualitative analysis means we have to identify that unknown substance present into it. Now when we say salt, it is formed by the reaction called as neutralization reaction. We know what we mean by neutralization reaction. When acid combines with base, it forms salt and the water. This is called as the neutralization reaction. Why it is called as neutralization reaction? Because the acidic property of the acid is due to H plus ion, and the basic property of base is due to OH negative ion, and they combine together and they forms the H2. For example, if you take ammonium chloride, one of the salt, it is made up of one acid and base. How to identify which acid and which base? This is positive part, this is negative part. In that positive part, add negative ion, OH negative ion, and in this negative part, add H plus ion. Then this will be, if we add them together, it will be ammonium hydroxide, and this will be hydrogen chloride. We know that hydrogen chloride is an acid, and the ammonium hydroxide is a base. So all this salt, they contains one cation part and one anion part. Cation is that part which has positive charge on it. Anion is that part which has negative charge on it. Why it is called as cation? Because it migrates towards cathode during electrolysis, and it migrates towards anode during electrolysis. This is also called as basic radical. Basic radical is positive ion is called as cation. It's called as basic radical because it comes from the base. Ammonium radical is obtained by ammonium hydroxide. It came from base, that's why it is called as basic radical. And our anion, which is negative charge ion, is an acidic radical. So in our salt, there will be one acidic radical and there will be one basic radical, and we have to identify which acidic radical and which basic radical is present in our given salt, which carries 10 marks in the annual examination, practical examination. So how to analyze it? We have one scheme for it. We call it as the chart which is given in our manual on the page number 30. So you should by heart that chart, because that chart is not allowed in the examination hall. And if you do not know the chart, you cannot analyze it, because all that investigation depends on that scheme of how to identify these radicals. So in our syllabus, we have few acidic radicals and few basic radicals in our syllabus. Now, which acidic radicals are there in our syllabus? We classify them into various groups. Group number 1, acidic radical, only one in our syllabus, which is carbonate. Group number 2, acidic radical, it's chloride, bromide, and the nitrate. And the group number 3 radical is the sulfate. So this is only our syllabus. There are many groups and many radicals are present, but you should not bother about it. Only those which are in our syllabus. Group 1 is carbonate, group 2 is chloride, bromide, nitrate, and group 3 is sulfate for the acidic radical. For the basic radical, we start with the zero group. In that, ammonium radical is present. Then we come to this. Always group number we have to write in Roman numbers. Remember that examiners are very particular about it. If you write them in these Arabic numbers like 1, 2, then they may feel that you are ignorant about it. So these Roman numbers are to be used. For group number 1 basic radical, there is no radical in our syllabus. For group number 2, there is no radical in our syllabus. There are some radicals, but they are not there in our syllabus. Group number 3, we have aluminium radical. Group number 4, we have Zn+2 zinc radical and manganese radical. Group number 5, we have calcium, we have barium, and we have strontium. And of course group number 6, we have magnesium. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 radicals are there in our syllabus. And our salt contains any one of the acidic radicals, any one, because it's simple salt, it is not the salts are mixed and given. Simple salt, any one acidic radical and any one basic radical. Out of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of this 8, there is only one basic radical present in your salt. And out of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of this 5, any one acidic radical is present in your salt. And you have to identify it. Now, how to identify it? There are different stages of this identification. I will write here what are stages. Every stage carries marks. So first stage is the preliminary test, which carries 1 mark. I will explain in detail. You already know what to mean by preliminary test. We are just revising it. The part 2 is identification of acidic radical. In that part, first we have to identify the group number of radical. Out of this 1, 2, 3 group of acidic radical, which group number is present? It carries 1 mark. Then we have to identify the acidic radical itself. Whether it is carbonate, chloride, bromide, nitrate or sulfate, it carries 1 mark. And we call it as confirmatory test, CT, of that acid radical. It carries 2 marks. Then part 3rd of our analysis will be identification of basic radical. In that, first we have to identify the group of basic radical. It carries again 1 mark. Means which group is present, whether 0, 3rd, 4th, 5th or 6th, because 2nd and 2 are absent. They are not there in our syllabus. Next one is which is the actually basic radical present. The name of that basic radical you have to identify out of these 8, which one is present, that carries 1 mark. And last one, we have to take the confirmatory test, we call it as CT, of this basic radical. It carries 2 marks. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And another 1 mark is for writing systematic procedure. Systematic procedure is how we are writing this chart accurately without any overwriting. I will tell you that if you do overwriting, your marks will be deducted. So no overwriting. And you have to report 6 times to the examiner. Which are the 6 times which you have to report to the examiner? Preliminary test, no need to report to the examiner. But the group number of acidic radicals, you will tell clearly the group number 1, 2, 3 I have obtained. And you have to obtain the signature also. Answer paper you have to write and obtain the signature. Then acidic radical, the confirmation. Then group of basic radical, you have to report. Basic radical name you have to report. Which basic radical is present in your salt. And the confirmation of that basic radical. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After writing you have to show to the examiner. Examiner will sign there. Then only your paper will be your victory. It's not that you got your salt and you go on doing the experiment and you come and finally report which salt is there. It's not the way. Stepwise you have to go. Stepwise you have to report to the examiner. And every student has different salt. So don't compare your answers with anyone. Do not indulge in any malpractice. I will warn you again and again because it will create a very wrong impression of yours. So just as you do regular practical, you have to conduct yourself in the examination hall. So how to identify it? So there is a scheme. I already told you to buy that particular chart. You might be prepared that particular chart. With me also you write so that it will be the kind of revision for you. And you have to revise it 2-3 times. You have to revise it because this is a new thing for us. But once we revise it, we will understand the sequence and the logic behind this. It's just like any thriller story, crime story. One unknown person who have to find out and will get some clue here and there, and then we come to that particular person. So like it's just like that. There is well-established scheme for us to identify it, but you have to follow it. So I have to start with the preliminary test for this. Preliminary means initial. Preliminary means initial. Not much information will obtain in preliminary test, but it is required because it gives us the clue regarding the what type of salt may be present into it, what type of radicals may be present into it. So we will start with the first part, which is the preliminary test. We call it as preliminary test. We have to make systematically 3 columns. In first column, we have to write what test you are going to do, what observations you will obtain, and what is the inference. Inference means what conclusions you will get from it. So first test in preliminary test is color and the appearance. Color and the appearance. We have to look into our salt very carefully. There are only 2 possibilities. Either it is white color or it is pale pink color. So out of that there is no other possibility. So observation may be the white crystalline. If it is white crystalline, we have to say that salts of, and starts with all the basic radicals from 0 salts of ammonium in group 0, 1, 2 absent, group 3 is aluminium, group 4 is zinc and manganese, group 5 is calcium, strontium, barium, and group 6 is Mg plus 2. We have to write may be present. So what we have done? Basic radicals, 0 group, 3rd group, 4th group, 5th group and 6th group may be present. That is our inference. Inference means that is our conclusion. We are moving towards the identification. And first thing, we look into salt. It is colorless, white, and crystals shining. You know the difference between crystals and amorphous. Amorphous is just like talcum powder. So it is white crystalline. Another this possibility, maybe it is white amorphous. When it is white amorphous, we have to say that salts of carbonate may be present. May be contain carbonate. One acidic radical, group number 1 acidic radical may be present into it. Or we can say it is pale pink color and crystalline. If it is like that, we have to say that salts of manganese may be present. So your observation will be one out of these three, not all these three. Either your salt will be white crystalline, or it is white amorphous, or it is pink crystalline. If it is white crystalline, this conclusion. If white amorphous, this conclusion. If pink crystalline, this conclusion. So any one observation and corresponding conclusion you have to write. This is your first preliminary test, which is color and appearance. In another one is the solubility. We have to go ahead. We have to go for this solubility test. How to do that? We have to take salt in a test tube, small amount of salt. We have to add water to it, and we have to shake it well, because many salts are not easily soluble. It takes some time, so we should give that time to it, and we allow it to get dissolved. So we have to shake it, intermix it. If there are again two possibilities, one will be either it is soluble in water or it is insoluble in water. If it is soluble, mostly it is crystalline salt. So when it is soluble in water, we have to pick up this inference and we have to write it once again here. So it is soluble in water, we have to say salts of ammonia, Al+3, zinc, manganese, calcium, strontium, barium, magnesium may be present. If it is insoluble, we have to pick up the observation from inference from the white amorphous. We have to write it as salt of carbonate may be present. So this we have to write here. So crystalline, soluble, amorphous, insoluble. So what examiner will do? He has answer key for particular table number. You already know whether your salt is crystalline or amorphous. If your salt is crystalline and you have written crystalline, you will just write this, soluble, you will make right mark, and you will give 1 mark for the preliminary examination. If your salt is amorphous, you will see whether you have written amorphous at a particular observation. Pink crystalline, whether you have written or not, and solubility you have written or not. So you completed the first part of 1 mark successfully within just 1 or 1.5 minutes. Color, appearance, and the solubility. So this is the preliminary test. Don't get it wrong, because if you get it wrong, you will have wrong impression on the exam. And it's simple. You should not be panicked. That is most important, because many students feel the pressure of examination and they make some mistakes, because if you are low in confidence, you are bound to make mistakes. So you should not do that. You have to avoid it. You should be well composed. The composure is important. Then second step is identification of acidic radical, which carries 4 marks. Identification of group, identification of acidic radical itself, and once you identify, you can take the CT for it for the 2 marks. So it is very important part for our analysis. So I will rub this. You have that on page number 30. You have to prepare it again and again. With me also you write, and again you revise, so that there should not be any difficulty in the examination. So the next part 2, will be the identification of acidic radicals. I will write here, identification of, the second part will be identification of acidic radical. We are first finding out which acidic radical is present in it. Only 2 reagents we have to use here. First we call it as action of dilute sulfuric acid. Action of dilute sulfuric acid. We have to take the salt in a dry test tube. Before the experiment, you wash all the test tubes which are there in test tube stand, because if some impurities are there, you may not get correct observation. So it is your duty that before starting practical, you wash the test tube, and also equally when you complete the practical, you wash the test tube, because this is the very simple manners to behave in the practicals, that we should not keep any unclean part in your table. Whatever reagent bottle you take out for the practical, you replace them at the proper place, because if more reagent bottles are there, you may just push them and whole paper will be damaged, and answer paper cannot be replaced. So you should take utmost care about it. So salt plus 1 to 2 milliliter dilute H2SO is what we have write in the test column. Now what is there in observation column? We have to write this as gas evolve. This may happen, gas may evolve if you have this group 1 present, and we have to write first group present, first group acidic radical or first group present. So in the inference column, unless and until you write the group number, you will not get 1 mark for it. Even though some students tell correctly to the examiner, I am getting first group, but in the answer paper they will not write. If they do not write in the answer paper, your mark will be deducted. So gas evolved. And what is the appropriate conclusion for it? Inference, first group present. Then what to write? Brisk effervescence. Brisk means very fast. Effervescence, E-F-E-R-V-S-C-N-C. You have to make the correct spelling. Effervescence is a very typical word. We do not use it always in our daily life. So this is a very typical word, effervescence. And then we have to write carbonate may present. So if you have brisk effervescence, you are lucky. It means in first group only you got that your acidic radical. Or we can say no gas evolved. No gas evolved. If your observation is no gas evolved, you have to write first group is absent. First group is absent. And what happens if first group is absent? You have to go to the next group. This is very logical step. So either you have gas evolved or you have no gas evolved. If you have gas evolved, group 1 is present. And which radical is present in group 1? Only one, carbonate. How to identify it? Brisk effervescence. As soon as you add that, this dilutation is bubbles comes out, and you can say that effervescence of carbon dioxide occurs and carbonate may be present. So this is first group. Now in the second group, if it is absent, then only you have to go to the second group. If you go obtain the carbonate, you just go for the confirmatory test. You do not to go to the group number 2. But group number 2, we have to say action of concentrated sulfuric acid. Now concentrated sulfuric acid, while dealing with the test tube, we have to put the holder into it, because if H2SO4 falls on your fingers, it is very irritating. There is no immediate cure to it. You may not conduct your further practical, and if you do not conduct your further practical, only examiners give you sympathy, no marks will be given to you. So you should take care of yourself. It is your responsibility that no chemicals falls in your exposed part, this hands part, which are more important, and face also, because sometimes it bumps out, and if we are very close to that test tube, it is very harmful thing for us. You already know it, your experience, at least 2 years you have done practical, so you know it. So this action of concentrated sulfuric acid, we have to take salt and we have to add 1 to 2 milliliter concentrated sulfuric acid. Now there are many observations, many inference in it, because it has chloride, it has bromide, it has nitrate. So first our observation is fuming gas, it fumes. Fuming gas evolved is released, and when it is fuming gas is evolved, we say that second group present. And if fuming gas are evolved, there are three possibilities. First is colorless gas which gives no color, white fumes comes out, which gives dense white fumes with glass rod dipped in yes, this chloride gas is coming and we have to supply it ammonium hydroxide so that ammonium chloride will form. So dense white fumes, more white fumes will be produced. If we put the glass rod dipped in H4 above it, chlorine comes from that test tube, ammonium hydroxide is there and they form ammonium chloride and more fumes will be created. If that happens, chloride may present. This is our inference. If this happens, then chloride may present. Another possibility is that maybe we get reddish brown gas, red color. This is colorless, this is reddish brown. You can easily differentiate. If that happens, bromide may present. And this is second possibility. The third possibility, I will write here because not space is sufficient. So, what is the third possibility? We have to say light brown gas. Light brown. Remember, this is colorless, this is reddish brown, and this is light brown gas. More fumes are produced when heated with copper turnings. Copper turnings are small pieces of copper. We'll add them, and when we heat them, more fumes are produced. If that happens, we can say nitrate may present. And of course, the last observation that no fuming gas evolved. I will just write. So this is another one possibility. And the last possibility is no fuming gas evolved. So I will just rub this part. No fuming gas evolved. No fuming gas evolved. No fuming gas evolved. And when I say no fuming gas evolved, there is possibility that we write second group absent. And as second group absent, we have to mention here only third group present. And then only one radical in third group, which is sulfate. SO4-2 may present. So what examiner will do here, whether you have written group number or not. So he said yes, fuming gas evolved, group number 2 is present, he will give 1 mark. If your radical is chloride, he will give another 1 mark. So these are the 2 marks here. If your radical is not chloride, bromide, group number mark you obtain here, and bromide radical mark you obtain here. So 2 marks. If not bromide, if nitrate. If not nitrate, no fuming gas. So any one observation, any 2 observations. First is fuming gas, and this colorless, reddish brown, light brown or no. Out of this 4, any one observation will be correct. If second group absent, we will write this third group present, sulfate present. So 1 mark for this group number if you have written that in the inference column. And 1 mark for this identification of the acidic radical, 1 mark. So this is the identification of the acidic radical. Group number 1 carbonate, 2 chloride, bromide, nitrate, 3 sulfate. And these are the reagents. Group number 1 to 2 milliliter dilute H2SO4, of course with salt. And group number 2, salt plus 1 to 2 milliliter concentrated sulfuric acid. So this is identification. Now the next 2 mark part is the confirmatory test for this radical. I will rub this. I hope that you are writing with me so that there will be a kind of revision to you. So the next is the confirmatory test. The next part is the CT, we call it confirmatory, because we have written here may present, may present, may present, may present, but we don't know whether it is actually present or not. So that is confirmed. So we call it as confirmatory test is required for it. And they are very specific. Confirmatory test is very specific. Just like in any thriller story, fingerprints are taken, and that fingerprints will decide the particular criminal. So it is just like that. It is confirmatory test of like the fingerprints. They will respond and will confirm that particular radical is present. So we call it as CT now. CT for CO3 minus 2. The first radical, acidic radical, is carbonate. We should know its name also. It is called as carbonate because many times students, they are unable to tell their names if they are not practiced sufficiently. So it is carbonate, CT for carbonate. What do I have to do for CT for carbonate? We have to take salt plus 1 to 2 milliliter dilute H2SO4. And what will happen now? In observation, we write carbon dioxide gas evolve with brisk efflorescence. Yes, again and again I am telling that you should write the correct spelling of efflorescence. With brisk efflorescence, which turns lime water milky. If we pass that gas very carefully in the lime water becomes milky. It develops white color. Now we can say that carbonate is confirmed. So our acidic radical part completed. If your radical is carbonate, then only confirm carbonate. Otherwise, no need. If your radical is chloride, then another we have to write here as CT for chloride, which is another one radical. First radical, group 2. We have to take the salt, we have to take the water, and we have to add AgNO3 solution to it. Silver nitrate solution into it. What do we get? We get curdy white precipitate, and we have to say that it is soluble in ammonium hydroxide. If that happens, we have to say that chloride is confirmed. The another is the CT for bromide. What is the CT for bromide? The same thing. We have to take salt, we have to take water, and we have to take AgNO3 solution. What will be our observation if bromide is present? It is called as pale yellow precipitate. Sparingly soluble in ammonium hydroxide. This completely dissolves. This sparingly soluble. This is curdy white. This is pale yellow. You can easily distinguish. Then we can say bromide is confirmed. Then another one is CT for nitrate. What is the confirmatory test for nitrate radical? We have to take salt, we have to take water, and we have to add to that the freshly prepared ferrous sulfate. Freshly prepared FeSO4, and plus, I will write here, plus add concentrated sulfuric acid slowly along the sides of test tube. So this is very simple test to perform. Concentrated sulfuric acid slowly while tilt the test tube and along the sides clockwise we have to add. What will be our observation? We have to say dark brown ring. It is called as brown ring test also. Dark brown ring is formed at the junction of two liquids. And what we can conclude, if this happens, then we have only one conclusion, that nitrate is confirmed. Now the last conformity test is for sulfate. So I can write here Ct for sulfate, which is present in group number 3rd. What is that? In the test column, I have to write the salt plus water plus dilute HCl plus barium chloride solution. You will get this in the rack, the side racks, or in front of your rack. Reagents are placed. What is your observation? You get white PPT. And what is your inference? Inference is sulfate is confirmed. Of course, you have to write this in 3rd column, as place is not sufficient. I have written here. First is test, another is observation, and 3rd is inference. This is one CT. One more CT is there. Salt plus water plus lead acetate, and you get it again the white precipitate as an observation, and you have to say that sulfate is confirmed. So in this way you can confirm carbonate, lime water turns milky, chloride, curly white precipitate, bromide, pale yellow precipitate, nitrate, dark brown ring at the junction, and sulfate, white PPT with the particular reagent. So this completes our acidic radical analysis. Then we have to go ahead and we have to learn about the 3rd part, which is the identification of the basic radical. But before identification of basic radical, you have to prepare the original solution. So I will rub this part again. I hope that you are writing with me and this class are beneficial to you. Only when you write with me and you already prepared chart, you are preparing chart. It is a kind of revision point. So I have to write I will rub this part. So I want to use that space also. We have to write here as the preparation of original solution. Now how to prepare the original solution? We have to take the pinch of salt. Pinch means very small amount of salt. Pinch of salt, and we have to add water to it. If it is soluble in water, when it is soluble in water, it is crystalline. It is soluble in water. OAS means original solution. Remember, OAS is original solution. To be prepared in water. OAS is to be prepared in water if it is soluble in water. If it is insoluble in water, it does not dissolve into water if our salt is amorphous. OAS to be prepared in dilute HCl. So this is preparation of original solution. Once preparation of original solution is done, you can go to the next step, which is the identification of basic radical. And you have to start from the 0 group. So again in the test column you have to write salt plus sodium hydroxide, and we have to just heat it, because many times the ammonia smell will not come easily. We have to heat it. When we do that, smell of ammonia, you will easily understand the smell of ammonia. When you inhale, immediately the water comes out of eyes. Smell of ammonia is very common in any public urinal in India, which is not well maintained. Ammonia is released there. So smell of ammonia you can easily identify. If your nose are not clear, deep, you have to take smell, but don't take much deep. You start with some small quantity of ammonia and just see whether you are getting that smell or not. But it is very important, because if there is ammonia present and you are not getting smell, your whole practical will be wrong. So we should be very careful in that particular state. Smell of ammonia, and what that gas comes out, sometimes it is not visible, but which gives dense white fumes once again, with glass rod dipped in concentrated HCl. If that happens, you have to write two inference. Remember, two inference. First is zero group present. Another is ammonium may present, because group number carries 1 mark and the basic radical carries 1 mark. If you do not write like this, directly write ammonium may present, you have not written group number, your mark will be straightway deducted. So we should not take any risk. Again and again I am telling that in that practical tension, you smell of ammonia comes, you become very happy that your zero group is present, and in that happiness, in that moment, you may not write this zero group present, but that will cost you 1 mark. So zero group present, ammonium may present, or another possibility, no smell of ammonia. No smell of ammonia. No smell of ammonia. No smell of ammonia, what we can say? We can say zero group absent. Simply, we can say zero group absent. Now, if zero group is absent, it is our duty that we should go to the next group. The next group will be, of course, the group number 1. Again, I will do this part because now I have to write more groups on the board. So next will be, this is test number 1, we can see. In test number 2, we have to write original solution plus dilute HCl, and without performance, so you can write, but it's not there in our syllabus, no precipitate, and you can write first group absent, and in third one, original solution plus dilute HCl pass H2S gas, and we have to write no precipitate, because that is not also not there in our syllabus. We have to write second group absent, and in fourth one we have to write original solution plus ammonium chloride plus ammonium hydroxide XS. If this happens, if we add this, and if we get white gelatinous gel-like, white gelatinous precipitate. Remember how to write the inference here. This is the first group. This is the second group. They are absent. In the inference of third group, it is present. You have to write third group present, and there is only one radical in third group, Al plus A, precipitates as what we had, ammonium hydroxide lastly. So this OH group, so precipitates as hydroxide, and that's why we can say Al plus 3 may present. We have almost got a basic radical. Of course, we have to confirm it. Again, I will rub this part. I need to rub this because all the group I have tried. Or another one possibility here is of no PPT. If it is no PPT, you can write here as third group absent. As third group absent. Third group absent. And you go ahead. Go ahead. Now in the next group, so there are two possibilities in either white PPT or no PPT. White PPT, third group present, no PPT, third group absent, you go to the next group. So I write here as OS plus ammonium chloride plus I have to write here as the ammonium carbonate in the fifth group. Of course, NH4OH also. We are going to fourth group, so it is NH4OH plus we have to pass H2S gas. We have to pass the H2S gas into it. Then there will be PPT. If there is PPT, we have to write that fourth group present. Fourth group present. And in fourth group there are two radicals. One is this zinc dipositive, another is manganese dipositive. And we have to write precipitates as sulfides, because we added hydrogen sulfide, precipitate and sulfides. So we have to say that Zn plus 2, Mn plus 2 may present. Now out of these two, which one is exactly present? We can say if it is white precipitate, then Zn plus 2 may present. And if there is flesh colored precipitate, then we have to say that manganese may present. Or of course there will be another one possibility. What is that? No precipitate, no PPT. And when it is no PPT, we have to say that fourth group absent. And if fourth group is absent, we have to go ahead to the fifth group now. So I write original solution. These are group reagents. Original solution NH4Cl, ammonium hydroxide plus ammonium carbonate. If we do that, and if our radical is present in fifth group, we will get the white precipitate. What type of inference we can write? We can write that fifth group present, and you can write that there are three radicals: calcium, barium, strontium may or precipitate as we added ammonium carbonate at last, precipitate as carbonates, and we have to say Ca plus 2, Pa plus 2, Sr plus 2 may present. And of course there is last possibility, no PPT. If it is no PPT, what conclusions we can draw here? What inference we can draw here? That fifth group absent. And if fifth group is absent, there is only one possibility: sixth group present. And if sixth group is present, there is only one radical, Mg plus 2 may present. So I have written all the group here except 0. I have already written, but I have roughed it. 0, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So what do we have obtained in this part? We have obtained the group number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the which radical is present? 0, ammonium. First group, no radical. Second group, no radical. Third group, aluminium. Fourth group, zinc, manganese. Fifth group, calcium, strontium, barium. Sixth group, magnesium. Once we know the group number, we will get 1 mark. Once we know the radical, we get another mark, and remaining 2 marks are for the confirmatory test. So we have to go ahead and we have to see the confirmatory test for all these radicals. So I will rub this part again because again I have to write the CT here. Yes, only these lectures are useful if you are revising with me, you are writing this chart with me or before me. If you already prepared it, then only they are useful. Otherwise, it is of no use. Just by listening these lectures, we cannot command that chart. Now, confirmatory test, we have to start with all: ammonium, aluminium, zinc, manganese, calcium, strontium, barium, magnesium. So I will write the CT for ammonium. CT for ammonium is very simple. We have to take OS and we have to take Nessler's reagent. Nessler's reagent. What we will get? We get the brown precipitate. Brown precipitate. If we get that brown precipitate, we have to say that ammonium is confirmed. So if your basic radical is ammonium, your practical is almost over because already you have obtained acidic radical. If not ammonium, then what is another possibility? CT for Al plus B. We have to take original solution NaOH, drop by drop. And what is the conclusion? White gelatinous precipitate. White gelatinous precipitate. And we have to say that white gelatinous precipitate dissolves in excess of NaOH and reappears on boiling with ammonium chloride. And if that is positive test, means we are getting this observation, we have to write Al plus B confirmed. Al plus B is confirmed. Then another is for CT for the zinc dipositive radical. Again we have to write OS plus. There are 2 CTs white, NaOH. And we have to say that white precipitate which dissolves in excess of sodium hydroxide. And we have to say that if this happens, the zinc dipositive is confirmed. Then another is we have to take OS plus potassium hexacyanoferrate. We have to add, and what we get? If we get greenish white precipitate, then our observation is inference is the zinc radical is confirmed. So this is about the CT for zinc dipositive radical. If we go ahead, if our radical is manganese, we will write CT for Mn plus 2. And what is that? Original solution plus sodium hydroxide. And what we get in observation? White precipitate. And that white precipitate turns brown. If that happens, we may say that manganese is confirmed. Now in the fifth group, we have free radicals: calcium, barium, strontium. All we get white precipitate. So we have to identify which radical is present. So we have to go for group analysis now. If our group is 5, then and then only. Group analysis of fifth group. How will do? We'll take the original solution and we'll there are two possibilities. If there is white precipitate, we may say that Ba plus 2 and strontium may present. And if there is no precipitate, we have to say that calcium may present. And accordingly, we have to take the confirmatory test. So now we have to take the Ct of calcium, Ct for Ca plus 2. What we will do? There are two confirmatories here. OS plus ammonium oxalate will get the white precipitate, and we say that calcium is confirmed. Or another one is called as flame test. How to do the flame test? We have to take salt, concentrated HCl, we have to make the best of it, semi-solid, semi-liquid. We have to put that paste into the glass rod and add that, or put that paste to the Bunsen burner, and we have to observe the color. If we get brick red color, we have to say Ca plus 2 is confirmed. Then another one is Ct for Ba plus 2. It is again two Cts are there. Original solution plus K2CrO4, potassium chromate. If we get yellow precipitate, we have to say that Ba plus 2 confirmed. And if there is no yellow precipitate, remember this part very important. If no yellow precipitate, then strontium may present, not confirmation, but may present. You have to confirm it differently, because for white PPT, this both can be present. So I have to specify now. If yellow, Ba plus 2, not yellow, strontium. Then another one, Ct for Ba plus 2 is flame test. What is the flame test for barium? We have to say that for barium, apple green color is obtained, and we have to say that Ba plus 2 is confirmed. Now Ct for strontium. I will write here only. Ct for strontium. Ct for strontium. Original solution plus, we have to take now ammonium sulfate. If we get white precipitate, we have to say that strontium is confirmed. Or another one is flame test. If we get crimson red, then we have to say that strontium is confirmed. Only one last radical, magnesium, remains. I will write here Ct for Mg plus 2. Original solution plus NaOH, white precipitate, Mg plus 2, confirm. And the other is OS plus NH4Cl plus NH4OH plus, yes, we have to add into it disodium hydrogen phosphate. And if we get white precipitate, we have to say that magnesium is confirmed. So all this confirmation we have done. Ammonium is here, aluminium, 2 Cts for zinc, 1 Ct for magnesium. This group analysis, 2 Cts for calcium, 2 Cts for barium, 2 Cts for strontium, and 2 Cts for magnesium. So that carries 2 marks. This confirmatory test carries 2 marks. Just like what I have written, in the same fashion you have to write, but only what salt you have may be present, that only Ct you have. No need to write CP of all the radicals. You know it, but again and again I am saying this because this is very important part. Then lastly, you write the result. Lastly, you write the result. So in the result, you have to write that in that result you have to write given salt contains acidic radical. First you obtain acidic radical, its formula and its name. What to write its name also in bracket: carbonate, chloride, bromide, nitrate. Basic radical and then its name: ammonium, aluminium, zinc, manganese, barium, calcium, strontium, magnesium. Out of any one. That's why even salt is what to write its formula and what to write its name. We'll see how to write the formula, how to write the name. But first formula and then its name. So the examiner will see this and then you may think that you have done your salt analysis correctly. Now when you do this, now lastly I will tell you some tricks to remember, tricks to follow in the examination hall. So what type of tricks I am talking about? That there are certain combinations. If particular acidic radical you obtain, because mostly identification of acidic radical is easier for student because they are less in number and scheme is very simple. Once you got acidic radical, you have to just apply this common sense which I am explaining now here. Because only particular acidic radical is present with particular basic radical in our scheme of examination. We have 13 salts we generally do in the regular practice. Out of that 13 only one will come. So what type of trick I am telling you? You have to make this table, which table I am drawing on the board. In the first, we have to write the acidic radicals, and then we have to write the basic radical groups like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. The first acidic radical, we have to write the carbonate. If your acidic radical is carbonate, 0 group absent because there is no ammonium carbonate amongst them. 0 is ammonium. These two are already absent. There is no aluminium carbonate also. Yes, it can be either zinc carbonate, or it can be calcium carbonate, or it can be magnesium carbonate. So once you have acidic radical carbonate, you have to confirm, you have to apply this logic, common sense, that no group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 3 radicals are present. 0, 1, 2, 3 not present. It can be either zinc carbonate or calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate. Yes, 3 possibilities are there. Out of these 3, one basic radical is present along with the carbonate. If you have chloride, there is possibility that we may get ammonium. So once chloride you get, you have to very alert in group 0 to get the smell of ammonium. You may get, you may not get, because apart from ammonium, 1 is absent, 2 is absent, 3 is absent, 4th is also absent. You may get either barium or strontium, and only these 3 basic radicals are present along with chloride. With bromide, there is only one possibility, which is ammonium. So once you get that reddish brown gas with concentrated sulfuric acid, you are very lucky. Of course, that gas has very pungent smell, you have to bear that. But once you get that bromide, only ammonium. There is no other radical present in our syllabus in the combination with the bromide. Then another will be the nitrate. With the nitrate, there is no zero group, first group, second group, third group, and the fourth group. But there is only possibility that it may be barium nitrate, or it may be strontium. And if our acidic radical is sulfate, if our radical is sulfate, then there is no possibility of ammonium. Of course, group 1 and 2 are always absent. There can be a possibility of aluminium. There can be possibility of zinc dipositive and manganese dipositive, pale pink color. If you have pale pink color, remember that it can be only the manganese sulfate. There is no possibility of group 5, and there is only possibility of magnesium. So you have to remember this table. Of course, along with this chart, we have this additional work, but this will make some sense how to identify the radicals. Carbonate, only 3 are there. Chloride, 3 are there. Bromide, only 1 combination. Nitrate, 2 are there. Sulfate, 4 are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, till 13 salts are there. Which are those? Zinc carbonate, calcium carbonate, magnesium carbonate. In chloride, ammonium chloride, barium chloride, strontium chloride. Ammonium bromide, barium nitrate, strontium nitrate, aluminium sulfate, zinc sulfate, manganese sulfate, magnesium sulfate. And regarding the conformity test, there are few radicals which are confirmed only by addition of sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide, white PPT in CD, which dissolves in excess of NaOH. Sodium hydroxide drop by drop, white gelatinous PPT, dissolves in excess of NaOH, reappears on boiling with ammonium chloride. Same here, zinc. White precipitate turns brown. White precipitate, white precipitate. What about this ammonium conformity test? Nessler's reagent, brown PPT, ammonium conformity. Same here. What about this calcium? Ammonium oxalate, white precipitate. And which type of flame color? Brick red. Barium, potassium chromate, yellow PPT. What is the flame test? Flame color? It is apple green. Strontium, ammonium sulfate. Color? crimson red. Same here also already I have explained. So you just look into this chart and just imagine what are group reagents? Nothing. Salt, NaOH, heat, smell of ammonia. Dilute HCl. Dilute HCl, H2S. Original solution, NH4Cl, NH4OH, excess. Original solution, NH4Cl, NH4OH, pass H2S gas. Original solution, ammonium chloride, ammonium hydroxide, ammonium carbonate. If all are absent, 6 is present. So you just make this table, which is very important table. You have to write it down because it is not given anywhere, but this will help you very crucial table so that all 13 salts will get here. How to write the formula? I hope you know it by crisscross method. For example, there is basic radical, this zinc and this carbon. We have to look into this valences. This is 2 and this is 2. We can simplify this ratio 1:1 and we have to crisscross it. So the formula is zinc carbonate. As the valence of Ca plus 2 is also 2, the formula is calcium carbonate. As the valence of Mg also plus 2 minus 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, the formula is magnesium carbonate. This is plus 1, this is minus 1. This is NH4 plus and this minus 1. This 1, 1, they get neutralized and the formula is ammonium chloride. What about barium and strontium? Barium is plus 2, Chloride is -1. This is 2 1 crisscross. So this BaCl2. The same thing with strontium also, +2 -1. Formula is SrCl. Ammonium, just like +1, bromide is -1. So it is ammonium bromide. Nitrate, barium +2. Nitrate is -1. 2 1 crisscross this. Barium, we are writing in bracket because it's polyatomic. Polyatomic means 2 atoms are there. Barium. The same thing with strontium nitrate also. Then what about the aluminum sulfate? Many students get it wrong. Al is +3, SO4 is -2. This is 3 and 2. Crisscross is Al2, SO4 thrice. What about the zinc and sulfate? +2 -2. It is zinc sulfate. What about manganese and sulfate? It is MnSO4, manganese sulfate. What about magnesium and sulfate? +2 -2. 2 2 1 1. Magnesium. So these are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 salts are there. So I tried to simplify it, but simplification is only useful if you know all the chart. It should be on the fingertips, one after one sequence, and more hard work is needed. Chemistry is subject of understanding and hard work. So I hope that you will do this hard work and make this exam successful, because these marks matter so much in the annual examination. For engineering examination, you know these theory marks are considered. So I hope that you prepare it well, and when you come to the examination, you should not face any difficulty. With happily you complete your examination with happiness, with confidence, and of course you have to prepare the Viva questions, the 45 questions, all function groups Viva questions are there. You have to prepare it well, and then yes, your work is done. So I pray to the God, and I wish you very best wishes, because you are very good students, and yes, do it, just do it. Thank you.